Live at 1119 Alexander Street, Apartment 1. Good evening. Thank you for the chance to address this council. As a community organizer and a concerned Knoxville resident, I consider working for housing justice to be among my most important priorities. I have addressed the council on proposed developments before and helped to coordinate and present a canvas on energy burden in East Knoxville. Earlier this year, I was proud to participate in the negotiation for the largest community benefits plan ever signed between a bank and local communities to provide for access to home ownership to underserved communities. But I come before you today also as a neighbor. I live about a mile from Caswell Park. It is the closest major park to me, and I've gone there often. I am also a neighbor of the residents of Minvilla Manor, another volunteer ministry center property, and I'm proud to share my neighborhood with them. Finally, I am a neighbor of many Knoxville residents who lack permanent housing. We share the same streets, and I know we must do better by them. It is for these reasons I support this rezoning and transfer of land to VMC, and I encourage the council to facilitate this process as quickly as possible and to find a legal way to restore the original 47-unit plan for the site. Having heard the debate on both sides of this issue, I am convinced that this represents a well-considered, entirely appropriate plan that will help those most in need turn their lives around in vital ways. The site has everything that's needed for an effective permanent supporting housing project. It's located right next to vital supportive services, directly on a KUB bus line with easy access to the downtown and to most of the major nearby corridors. Folks without homes are so often the final priority in a city's future when they are considered at all. I'm proud that in this case, my city has taken a proactive role in working with a local agency to develop such a strong project. I also understand the concerns raised by this project. As an athlete and an environmentalist, I use Knoxville parks multiple times a week, and I know the importance of green space to a healthy community. I encourage the council to hear the concerns of residents of Park Ridge and surrounding neighborhoods, and I know you can work together to develop a park space that can provide more benefit than the narrow patch of hillside in question. But this plan has been public since May, and you've had more than enough time to consider feedback and make an informed decision. I've sat in these seats on projects like this many times before, and I've seen, as you must, that no plan for affordable, public, or supportive housing fails to draw some kind of opposition. There is no alternative that will satisfy everyone. When families without homes are given the least desirable, least accessible, and most cramped housing options, they simply don't have the surroundings they need to thrive. In closing, I want to speak to the importance of getting this project done, and done as soon as possible. Growing up, my family didn't always have a stable housing situation, especially when we had to move. During one period, we lived in a series of hotels. During another, my mother, 2 brothers, and I had to move into my grandmother's small house. This was not easy on us. However, my family always had a security blanket, a relative who could help cover rent, someone we could live with for a few weeks, a connection that helped us find something more secure. I often wonder what might have happened if we didn't have that support. Would we have had significant gaps in our education? Would my parents have been able to find and maintain stable work? Would our lives have spiraled into an unrecoverable situation? There are families in Knoxville facing this very question as we speak. Above all else, I implore you to consider the human costs of your decision. At heart, the question you face now, in 2 months, and throughout your terms in office is, how do we get as many individuals, families, and children into warm and safe homes, and how do we do it as quickly as possible? For these reasons, I encourage you to support this rezoning and transfer, and to see that this and other permanent supportive housing projects are completed as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.